Now, a month ago, over 1,100 clothing factory workers were killed when their building collapsed in Bangladesh. Big Western retailers have agreed on tougher safety standards. But for several days now, Bangladeshi workers have been downing tools, claiming their demands for better pay and conditions have still not been met. This programme has been inside a factory making clothes for one of the world's best-known brands, raising new questions about working conditions, as our Foreign Affairs correspondent Jonathan Rugman reports.
Beyond the smokestacks of these brick factories, amid an industrial landscape lost in time, and you find Ashulia, a town which is home to scores of clothing factories, serving some of the world's best-known high street brands. The police seem to be expecting a riot, and they are everywhere, patrolling the main highway and guarding every factory gate, against attacks by the workers supposed to be making clothes inside. Mid-morning, and thousands of workers are walking off the job. They make clothes exclusively for H&M. The Swedish retail giant is Bangladesh's biggest clothing buyer, and this is one of more than 20 factory closures in Ashulia because of unrest. It was the collapse of this factory complex in the capital which has left millions in Bangladesh's clothing industry angry and afraid. Well over 1,000 died here last month, this the biggest industrial disaster of the age. In Ashulia, workers told us enough was enough. We're not safe, said this man, and that's why we decided to come out.
Our main problem is salary, Salary very less. Every year house and very high.
House rent.
Then everything by expenses. So we get the money, pay, not enough.
The factory itself says it pays above the industry's minimum wage, which is around $40 a month. The lowest in the world, though the government's pledged to raise it.
The label says H&M again.
Yeah. We are working only for H&M.
One of the factory managers told me his clothes went to H&M in America and 25 countries across Europe. He said he had sent his workers home because they were frightened by local unrest, and that he'd love to give them a pay rise if only he could.
Our international buyers, they're bargaining with us for 1 cent, for 1 pence.
So you're under big pressure.
So many competition here. Our neighbor country, India, we already lost so many orders, and those orders are gone to India. That's why we can't increase our salary as their expectation.
Afterwards, he gave me a tour of his abandoned factory floor, where H&M's clothes were discarded mid-stitch. Our factory is very safe, he said, but when he tried to open the door of a fire escape, it was padlocked shut. Earlier this month, H&M joined other multinationals in signing up to a new agreement on fire and building safety. In a statement, H&M told us,
"We support the workers in their struggle for higher wages. We have a regular presence at supplier factories. The last full audit in the mentioned factory was in April 2013. From our audit protocol, we can tell that the factory has followed our code of conduct in regards to wages and fire safety."
10 minutes down the road, this is what remains of Tazreen Fashions. Much of it was built illegally. The workers say the fire exits were padlocked shut, and 112 of them burned to death here during a fire last November. I went to find the homes of the survivors, and amidst this poverty, I found Amina living with her teenage sons in a one-room shack. Everybody was screaming and my sari caught fire, she said. So I jumped from a window on the 5th floor. After that, I don't remember anything. She said the industry had paid her over $1,200 in compensation, but her injuries mean she can't work again. The UK firm, the Edinburgh Woolen Mill, was one of several foreign buyers from this factory, though it's declined our requests for comment. The workers here are squeezed by factory owners who need to make a profit and by consumers and high street brands overseas who want cheap prices. And until the rules of this supply chain change, nothing for these people is likely to change very much. Jonathan Rugman, Channel 4 News, Bangladesh.